how do you see fatherhood? What is your view on fatherhood? Is it just a guy who just goes out, takes care of his kids and goes to work, but don't come home and actually give his 100% at home? Hey, this is for my fathers, and I just want to make sure that I help and come here, and I want to take my time on this one because I want to make sure that my fathers and my guys get it. I want to make sure that y'all understand. I want to make sure that you are not only just receiving the information, but also working on the information. So I want to make sure that you eat all the nourishment that I'm actually about to provide. So the nourishment that we're about to go over today is fatherhood. Why is that so important? Because I want my fathers not only just to be fathers, providers, but protectors, but also considered as spiritual leaders. So what that means is that not only do you provide, not only do you to be able to protect, but you also a spiritual leader. And a spiritual leader is that one who takes care of his kids when his wife is gone. So that's what my approach is today, and I hope that you receive this information. I hope that you can get all of this that I'm about to provide you today. So the first thing is, how do you see fatherhood? What is your view on fatherhood? Is it just a guy who just goes out, takes care of his kids and goes to work, but don't come home and actually give his 100% at home? If that is so, then that is not fatherhood, because now it is your wife is taking up more of the baggage than you are. And it's supposed to be, everybody's supposed to be having their own, holding their own in their area. So if you are holding your own in your area financially, that is great, that is wonderful. But you are neglecting the fact that your kids also need you. You have, as a man, we have several hats. We have we are the guy who goes to work, and we have to wear that hat. If we are a manager, leader, or starting our own company, or have your own company and is already built and everything, and you're trying to grow and get further out in your career and in your business, then that is what you're doing there. That's your hat. But once that hat comes off and you're heading home in your car, you're going into your home, before you get into your home, you have to take off your business hat and then put on your father hat. Not only do you have to do that, you have to spend time with your kids. Spending time with your kids is not watching TV. Spending time with your kids is not watching TV with them. And we are watching their favorite show. That is not it. Are you playing games with them? Are you just finding ways to interact with your kids or get to know your kids better? Now, you're also a disciplinarian. Now, if you are the guy who has to discipline their kids, me, for myself, and that's to help you, not just being the guy who just wants to give you information. I am the guy who actually is going through trials and tribulations in this area. So you are not alone, and I want to make sure that you are not alone, that you go through this with another man. So the thing that I want you to understand is that how we discipline our kids is very important. As men, our voice is deeper, our tone is louder, and we have a different kind of roar than women do. So when we say something, it is heard differently in the child's ears. What does that mean? The mom can say, kids, go get your shoes out of the living room floor and take them upstairs to your room. When we say it, we sound, take your shoes upstairs like your mama said. You see the difference? The difference is in our tone, the difference is in our approach, and the difference is in how we actually talk to our kids. Now I understand we all get frustrated. I've been there. And there's been a time in my life when raising my kids or raising my girls, and also my son, is that I understand that my voice is different from my wife's voice. I mean, we all know it. I'm a man, she's a lady. But the thing is, they hear us differently than they hear their mom. So what that means is that our approach have to be softer, but firm in a way. You're not that guy who actually is just letting everything happen. You're actually telling your kids what you want them to do, how you want them to do it, and then they need to get it done. That is the same thing, but our approach is going to be different. It's going to be firmer, but our tone is going to be lower. You see what I'm saying? Now, if you're just yelling, they understand where you're coming from, but they're going to be fearful. So we don't want our kids fearful. And that's the approach that I tried at the beginning of my fatherhood, is that I thought it had to be more firm, direct, and hands-on. Like I would literally spank my kids if they didn't do it the first time or the second time. That's a bad approach. I didn't know that. I didn't know that the first time. But the things that I learned today, I want to make sure that you have those tools that I didn't infuse on today. So the next thing is I want you to understand is patience. Patience is one of those that we must have with our kids, and it is one of those things that it's not easy to obtain. It's not. So don't think that you're going to have patience today and then patience tomorrow. Sorry, that is not the case here. So one thing I want you to understand today is that patience is a daily battle with your kids. So understand your kids. Like a basketball team. That's how I want you to see, or a football team. Most guys who love to watch football, I want you to understand that. As a coach, you want to make sure that your team is working in their area of expertise the way they should. What do I mean? If you have a kid that is very energetic and he's your running back and he just loves to, we don't call kids bad. We just call them energetic. They got a lot of energy because they have a lot of energy. They don't know what to do with it. But one thing I want you to understand, if you have a kid that is like a running back who just has a lot of energy and he's ready to go at all times, well, then you know you need to go about going outside, running out with them. And I'm not saying you got to spend hours on hours on hours on time and then your time is gone. But what I'm saying is that if you have a kid that loves to run outside, let me ask you this. Would you rather another man take care of your child or you take care of your child? Me personally, I wouldn't want nobody else taking care of my kids. I wouldn't want my kids telling somebody else or calling somebody else man, daddy. I wouldn't. I'm sorry. If you're in that situation, I want you to know is that you need to get into a place where your primary objective. Your primary objective. What that means is that your kids know that you are their father. And yes, they have to call another man father, then that's understandable. That's something that you and that man has to work out. We're not talking about that. We're talking about you and your kids. That's all we're talking about today. Now, if we need a subject on stepfathers and fathers, then I'll do that. I'm not a stepfather, but I do have people that can help me with that subject to better understand it. But I digress from that because we're getting off subject. But the next thing, I even wrote it down. Let me make sure I have my notes. So the next thing is doctor visits. Doctor visits. I can't tell you how this one was one of the stressful times because I'm not the one going to the doctor visits. My wife goes to the doctor visits. One thing that made me a little uncomfortable with doctor visits is because I didn't know anything about what my kids was going through, as far as how were they coughing or what they have issues with their legs, body, or shoulders, whatever it was. It was one of those subjects that was like touchy feelies for me. But the one thing that I want you to understand is your partner is supposed to help you in those situations. So I asked my wife, hey, I'm really uncomfortable with doctor visits. I need to be better at doctor visits. So I would love to go to the next one. And that's one of the things that I would say and challenge men to do is go to your doctor visits. Take off a day at work. You may say, hey, I can't take off work. I'm sorry. Try to take off work. I need you to try to take off work. There's nothing that you can't do. It's just something that you don't want to do at this time. So, but another thing is doctor visits is one of those challenging things because there's a chart that you have to fill out. When you first go to a doctor visit, they ask you, fill this out and we'll be with you in a moment. Once you fill this out, you're going to start questioning like, man, am I a good father? You are a good father. It's just that you don't go to doctor visits. Don't get into that lane. That's not your lane. Stay in your lane. So when you go to a doctor visit, be an attentive father. You are there to help. You're not there to be a disciplinarian because they are not comfortable with you being there as it is. So they want to make sure that you are making them comfortable, meaning your kids. So be there. Lastly, I think I have one more point after this, but the next thing I want to talk about is babysitting. You are not a babysitter. You're not a permanent babysitter. You're not the guy who is just there just to watch your kids. These are not just kids. These are your kids. These are your kids that you can be able to help them and mold them in this time. The way that you can go about being a better father in that time and stop seeing yourself as a babysitter, just a person who's watching kids, is that you can be an attentive. You can be attentive and you can be present. What I mean by that is that if you are given most women would do that. They would help you out and say, hey, I'm about to go out, I'm about to do this. If they are giving you that information, then you need to prep your mind to say, hey, I am spending. You almost got me. I almost said watch. So if you are going to spend time with your kids, I need you to understand that that time that you spend with them I need you to prep your mind for it. I need you to prep your mind ahead of time. If she let you know yesterday, that means today you need to be prepping your day to be with your kids. What are we going to eat? What activities are we going to do? What show are we going to watch? What are we going to do to keep them engaged or educated or keep them active? Because if you can burn a kid out, you got them. Because if you burn a kid out, their energy, they will come down and they will not be as active throughout the day, where you don't have to stop that, stop this, stop doing that. Didn't I tell you to stop doing this? Didn't I stop? You don't have to do that, because you are burning the kids out. You are keeping them active. Now, if you find something to do with them that keeps them engaged, interactive, not something they have already done. So that's something that you can also get from your wife or your girlfriend or whoever you're with. Is understanding what do they like to do or what do they haven't done or things like that. Again, this is not saying that you are a bad father. This is saying that you are a father that is working on being present. That's what we're working on. So I need you to change the wording of how you word yourself. So that's one thing I want you to understand. So the next thing I want you to understand, I have my paper here because I want to make sure that I follow the process. The last thing that I want you to understand is the feeling of overwhelmed. I am overwhelmed with the kids and what they do. I don't really know how to instruct the kids on what their activities or what they're about to do. What do I mean by that? Let's say if you are at home right now with your kids and your wife is gone. She's out to a ladies' meeting. She's out with the ladies having a good time. This is during the day, like around 3 o'clock to, let's say, 8 p.m., right? And if this is the case, what is it that you're going to do to not feel overwhelmed? What you're going to do, listen to me now. What you are going to do is not hit the panic button. The panic button is what I call, you're calling your wife on the hour, every hour, saying, hey, where are you? When are you coming home? The kids are driving me nuts. That's the panic button. You're not going to hit the panic button. What I need you to do is hit the I am going to be present and attentive button. The way you hit that is making sure that, again, it goes back to what I was saying. Present is you have to make sure that you keep your kids active. You keep your kid active. Where is coloring? You have coloring sheets. If it's not coloring they like to do. If it's playing cards, get on the rug, get down. You a kid. You got kids. You got to be a kid somewhere in there. So just get on the rug with your kids. If you like to play cards, if you like to play dolls, show them how to dress the doll, or I don't know. But you got to keep your kids active, and then give them guidelines while you're spending time with them. Hey, this is what I need you to do. This is what I don't want you to do. Here's what we're going to do, and here's the time frame I want y'all to have fun, and make sure that y'all are helping one another out. That make sure that y'all are not getting in trouble, and I want to make sure that we have a good day today. Kids will understand that. But if you're just there just to be there and you're not giving no instructions or nothing, if you're not giving no instructions, kids is going to do what they want to do. If you are just a father that just clicking the remote and let your kids do everything, you're going to feel overwhelmed. I can guarantee that you're going to feel overwhelmed. But when you feel overwhelmed, it is what you are doing when you're overwhelmed. Are you just blazing the kids with anger? Are you just blazing them with sit down, shut up, and don't do anything? Of course, you're going to get that reaction. Of course, you're going to get a reaction that you wanted, meaning that you want to get them in trouble or sit down before I spank you or things like that. You're going to get a reaction out of them in a way that is going down the road that you're going down to based off your tone of voice. Remember what I said earlier, our tone of voice is different than women. So now they're going to see you as a person that just disciplines, and you're not fun, you're not helpful, you're not loving, you're just a disciplinarian. You don't want to be seen as that. Me personally, it hurts my feelings for my girls to say, hey, look, we don't like your voice. We don't like the way you talk. It hurts my feelings. So I know you have feelings. No matter how old you are, you got feelings. If your kids tell you something, you got feelings. But it is not to get mad. It is more to hear them out. Your kids will give you everything that you need. Hey, Dad, your tone of voice, well, I can't fix my tone of voice, but one thing I can do is that I can make sure that I don't sound angry all the time. I can fix that. Now, one thing, and I think it's the other little bonus feature that I want to give you is time. I think I touched on it a little bit, but time is, you don't have to, if you're working on this process of being a great father, which you are right now, is that give yourself 30 minutes after you get off work. Hey, I'm going to spend 30 quality minutes. That's not touching your phone. That's not looking at your watch. That's not looking at anything. That is taking your time to set your clock for 30 whole minutes. Your kids don't need to know what you're doing. Your wife don't need to know what you're doing. Set your timer for 30 minutes. I'm going to spend quality 30 minutes with my kids, and I'm going to be involved. I'm going to be engaging. I'm going to be present. Once you set your time on that, it's going to feel like a long time, I can guarantee you. But I need you to understand that this is quality time, not just spare of the moment time. This is quality time. So I need you to focus on your quality. So then if you want to do 35 minutes, you can, because you know how 30 feels. Let's go from there. Now, if you're a guy who just, man, 30 is too much, start with 10 minutes. Play a game. Don't watch no TV. But another bonus feature I need you to do is that if you have no clue about your kids, you need to spend quality time with your wife first, because she has all the information. She's your guru for your kids. You need to spend time with her. Take her on a date. Or just have a steak and potato night. That's my favorite thing. I'm just giving you a plug. But you can give your wife that time frame where you can say, hey, I need to know a little bit better about my family and about my team. I don't know right now. Good. She would love that. Next thing I need you to understand is another bonus. Another bonus is, after she gives you this information, do something with this information immediately. Do something with this information immediately. That means go out and make sure that you are being present with your family. Be present. So that's all I have for you, because I remember that when I first started, there was no blueprint. When I first started, there was nobody giving me anything. But I didn't make an excuse. I made adjustments. So today I want us to make adjustment as men. We need to make adjustments, and our wives and our family ask of us to make adjustments, because we are the head of the household. We are the ones that is directing the ship. Lastly is that, what is a ship without a solid anchor? It's not a good ship. So, men, be great, be men of honor, be a man that is present. If I didn't stress anything today, it was presence. Your presence is needed. Your love is needed. And if you don't provide the love, they will find love from someone else. So be present and love your family the way that you will want somebody to love you. Be great. Be present today. Be a great father. Let's go.